Together we'll conquer, no limits apply. Eclipse rising, shining so bright. With delusion leading, we'll conquer the night. Together we stand, in battles we fight. In Epoch, Epoch, our future is right.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Delusions, and today we have another arena day, getting closer and closer to finals as we make our way through the Road to Mastery series with the ENE Elf. But with that being said, I've had a lot of requests on what the build's looking like so far. Where are we setting at? What have I changed? What have I altered compared to that first initial build? So we're going to go through that, and then we're going to hop off into the arena and see if we can't make something happen there. So starting out, just doing a brief overview of our stats like we normally do. We're getting closer and closer to that 4 million on our physical attack mark, up to almost 90 mil HP. Our attack speed still sitting somewhere around 755. Attack success rate and defense rate are both looking pretty good. Have had some minor upgrades with those, not too much, but definitely something that I am working to progress more towards. Still trying to get enough resources to redo my sets because, again, I'd like to go through with some more of that control resist as well as that dead hit rate. But for now, we're still stuck on the Karaji lineup. So for those that don't know, that's increasing your PvP damage and decreasing your PvP damage. But realistically, this is what we're after. We're wanting to see this dead hit rate go up. We're wanting to see the resistance rate go up. We're wanting that dead hit damage and that decreased damage to go up. Because again, these are some of the things that are a little bit harder to combat as you start getting into the later levels because there's just not a ton of stuff that'll boost this. But at the same time, we're still building on our defense. Ignore, we're up to 83% now. Definitely could see that going higher within the coming month or so. Again, promised that we would take this 50 to 100 levels, so I still intend on doing that. So far, I'm loving the class, thinking that it's really, really fun, really great to play around with. But as far as the skills, we haven't changed anything with the skills. It's still exactly where we left off. Again, we're aiming to max out everything, with core being a big staple in the current gameplay meta right now. We're definitely looking to get some of these PvE skills up, such as arrow shower and multi-shot. Because again, damage is king on these bosses, and the more damage you do, the better chances that you have to being able to actually secure some of those victories. Coming into the attack tree, nothing has changed since we first started on this. Again, may come back and start picking up some more on the wing HP percentage. Would like to get more HP out of this build, but for now, we're still climbing in the common tree. Again, we'll probably come back at some point, max this out. Not sure if I want to come in with the Summon Wildness and increase that max HP and damage on there. I do see it being beneficial, but again, as we start progressing through the commentary, that's where I'll at least want to max this out before jumping back into the defense tree to pick up this last one. And in turn, I may just go ahead and just max everything out already. We don't have a whole lot of spaces left to fill in the defense tree, so I think that it may be beneficial. And the biggest ones that have been just such a huge help is going to be the Goblin's Fury 2. So this is going to become available once you unlock that first point, and it's when you are in an emergency situation when you've got your goblins up. Um, it will combine all of those, remove all of your crowd control that is currently upon you, and then refill your HP to max. So if you're really struggling, that's your get out of jail free card. Um, but there's also a lot that comes along with this too. So you do gain a little bit of reflect, not near as much as what you would see on an AGI elf or an ENE Dark Knight, but still, it is nice to have, and it can save you from time to time. Um, but not only that, when you resurrect off of that first what would be your death, your attack and your defense is increased by 50%. So that is huge. So when we're talking about how that looks when it compares to our stats, you'll see this number jump well above the 4 million mark, and we'll be sitting at 4,400 or 4.4 mil, sometimes even more than that. But you'll also see this increased damage just skyrocket. Um, I'll have to go back and double check to see if I have any screenshots of that, but I want to say that it was up to like 3,400%. So it's definitely huge. But one of the other things that I would love to do, and I think would be extremely beneficial, is start working my way through this element tree. Again, this I really want to finish out this right side of common before I really start jumping in. So we've got roughly 40 levels to go, but that will probably be when I may be looking to kind of reset my properties again and go heavy into the common tree or the element tree. Just because everything that you pick up through here is going to be just so good. Like if we were to max this out, our character's attack speed increases by 10%. Barrel is going to be doing way more damage. And then this one right here is a big one. So when using the elemental attack, 2% chance up to a 20% chance of inflicting a stun, and that is big. The more that you can lock down these players, the better. But not only that is you can finally start increasing more attack speed on your soldier and your barrel up to 30%. So I think that is huge. Um, but not only that, when we start looking over here on the right side, so not only are you still providing solid buffs and heals for your group, but now you're going to be able to amplify that up more. So during Infinity Upgrade properties activation, you and your party members have a 30% chance of recovering 20% of your HP lost. So this could be millions of HP that you're going to turn around and gain back once we get down to that level. Now, of course, you see that we've got quite a few to fill out there, but there is a lot that goes into this. So, especially with core, whenever the number of enemies in the vicinity increases by one, control or crowd control effect increases by 1%, and it stacks up to 3 times. And once you max it out, that's a 30% increase that you could have. Um, but for the sake of time, what we're going to do is we are going to do just a brief run through a little bit more talking about this, and then we're going to jump into arena before we miss our guild boss chances. So when your element is active, so that is your little elemental companion that'll follow you around, your critical, excellent, strike ignoring effect damage that is all being received is decreased by 10%, which again is huge because it's going to be happening a lot, guys. It is going to be happening so much. Um, and that is just with critical, excellent, and strike ignoring. Um, just because as you start getting higher and higher in your levels, that is what you're going to start seeing more and more of. But um, as far as the soul skill goes, not a whole lot of change. We're trying out the Shadow Pursuit. I like it, but I think it's time to go ahead and switch back over into Thorn Barrier just to see if we can potentially have a chance to get that to proc. Um, so with that, we're going to get our buffs going so that we can get ready to jump into the arena here. So as I said, go ahead and get our buffs going, courtesy of Optical and Illusion. And we're just going to dive right in. Facing off against MJH, who is now well above 200 mil. We're going to go ahead and get our properties and our skills going. Start off with a snipe, follow it up with an ice arrow, and then we're going to disengage. So we're going to use our get out of jail free card, which is definitely not going to help us in this sense. So we're going to have to start healing. And, you know, as I was saying before, guys, it's so hard to contend with some of these ENE DKs that, you know, if I don't get the first jump on them, it is almost GG's, you know, and I'll see myself out the door. Because what's going to end up happening is I'm not going to be able to create enough distance in between myself and him. His reflex are going to be, you know, bouncing back so much more of my damage than I'm able to do to him, and it's just bad news bears all around. Very hard to walk away from. Now, once we get into the finals, it may function a little bit different, but I think that by that time, we should have some decent upgrades of our own to be able to try and really make something more happen. So with Porter, he and I go back and forth in Looper Call. Again, lots of stuns coming out of Porter. Um, just such a solid, well-built class. As you can see, he's extremely tanky. But that being said, we are now down all of um, our stuns. So we've got to be careful to make sure that we are not putting ourselves in a bad spot. Definitely can happen. As you can see, taking a lot of damage being in that Sword of Brilliance. Very hard to get out of there sometimes. But our main focus is to go ahead, try to get him locked down, be able um, to pull through, gain that victory. Now, what we're going to do, we've got 9 minutes left until Guild Boss, so we are going to be moving, guys. We are going to be getting all of this stuff flowing, get all of our buffs in, jumping in and facing Knight. Knight has been gaining a lot of traction as well. So we'll see what kind of improvements he's made as we step off into this third matchup. Going to lead off with a stun. Go ahead and continue those stuns up a little bit more. But as you can see, there's still a lot that I need to learn about how to manage this class, being as more or less it's the biggest thing is going to be our placement. Um, just because again it is so crucial to maintain your distance and constantly be rotating around the arena to be able to dodge a lot of these ENE DKs. Uh, really hopeful that we are able to see some change coming out of the uh, the next arena season, because again I really think that we've got a good shot of placing high, um, but it's just all chance at this point. So with Laura, we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to hang back a little bit, go ahead and get an early stun off, uh, just so that you know they're locked down while I'm locked down, and be able to hopefully try to gain some ground. Took a little bit more damage than I wanted to take there. And my biggest thing is keeping my soldier alive has been just a crazy um, challenge. You know, if I sit still for too long and that Sword of Brilliance is down and we're all stuck off in there, then you know we're all losing out. But as we continue on, going up against Pandarina, um, AGI Elf, lots and lots of Reflect coming out of this class. Um, but I think we've got this one in the bag. As you can see, I've got auto skills that are currently on right now, and for the most part, that is just so that I know that they're triggering when they're supposed to. I've had some issues here lately where certain skills are not performing the way that they are intended, and I don't know if that's just me and the way that I have them lined out, but hopefully we're able to get something um, squared away with that and start to feel a little bit more fluid when we step off into here. And I know my sets have a big thing to do with this, being locked down pretty much 90% of the time out of every fight is definitely not fun, not something that I enjoy having to do. Um, and when you're in corpse, I mean, it's just so hard to combat because you're literally being stunned by everybody at the same time. And if you're not careful, well, there goes your life. So you've got to really, really um, work towards building up that crowd control resistance or the control resistance, however they want to phrase that. But it just seems that, going Karaji sets early game, big success. Going Karaji late game, probably not near as much as I would have enjoyed, um, simply because there is just not there's there's not enough benefits from it. Yes, you gain the PvP damage increase and decrease, um, but that's really nothing in the grand scheme of things. So I really, really think going that vicious lineup with the Sharon accessories is going to be extremely big for us, allowing us to be able to take advantage of that crowd control resistance as well as bringing in some more dead hit rate. We've got 3 matches left and 4 minutes to go before the guild boss. And then I've also got to bring all of my other accounts up to speed. And as you can see, even some of these lower ENE Dark Lords are still able to hang in there for a minute or two. So for all of you that doubt ENE Dark Lord, you just don't know. You just don't know. Such a great class. But it always never stops amazing me at how fast you can drop a player's health in arena with these ENE elves. They are just too good at times, too good. As you can see, we've just very, very quickly triggered that ice wall, and then as soon as it came down, that was it. It was over. And not only that, you know, my barrel and my soldier are both super contenders when it comes down to this. But that, of course, puts us back in the top spot for now. MJH would, of course, have to lose to myself and Porter and not win any more matches um, to be able to take the spot back. Same with Porter. They're gonna do it, guys. They are. Um, ENE Dark Lord or ENE Dark Knight, I should say, was built for Arena. There's just no doubt about it. But I want to thank you all again for all the support that you guys have offered, and hope to bring you some more interesting content as we continue on with this journey. Should have some big changes in the works, and it's just a matter of getting to that point. But with that, I am Delusions, and I am out. Take care, guys.
So raise your sword high, let's claim our fame. With every boss fallen, we'll carve our name.